19-year-old Timothy Ellison is suing casino owner Bobby Altman for withholding his video Keno winnings. Timothy says he hit a $1,300 jackpot, and Bobby won't pay up.
Order. All rise.
Your Honor, this is case number 243 on the calendar in the matter of Ellison versus Altman. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Why don't you folks have a seat?
Thank you, Brad. How old are you, Mr. Ellison?
I'm 19.
And where do you live?
I live in Abilene,
Texas.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you work or go to school?
Yes, ma'am. I move furniture.
According to your complaint, you were gambling at the defendant's gambling establishment, playing slot machines, and you hit a jackpot.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Altman refuses to pay you the jackpot.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Altman says that you cheated, somehow rigged this machine,
Yeah.
and he doesn't pay cheats.
Yeah.
Mr. Altman, I want you to tell me what kind of gambling establishment this is.
Judge, it's strictly games, machines. There's no tables, nothing like that.
What is the policy with regard to paying out jackpots when somebody wins in the establishment where Mr. Ellison allegedly won the jackpot?
Our policy is that if it's after 5 p.m. and over $300, they have to wait till noon the next day to get paid.
Is that posted someplace?
I'm going to show you a picture of it right now,
Good.
Judge.
I assume it's a dated picture. When did you win the jackpot, Mr. Ellison?
I went on July 26th.
Okay. That doesn't show me anything, Mr. Altman.
Okay?
You show me where that's posted.
I'd have to take you to Abilene and show you
No,
where
you
it's
wouldn't have to.
posted.
You don't have to take me anywhere. All you had to do was take a picture of where it was posted, not a sign that you just made up. Aside from the fact that in your answer, Mr. Altman, you don't say it was posted. You just said it was policy. You can give that back to him. It's useless. And Mr. Altman knows it's useless. You see, Mr. Altman, because if you're a businessman, and I assume that you've been in court before on something, so you know that if you sign an affidavit, you would want to put in the most important thing in the affidavit, which is that prominently out there, right under the office, is a big sign that says any jackpot over $300 that's hit after 5 o'clock has to wait till the next day. But you don't say that here, sir. You didn't say that anywhere in your answer.
Okay.
You just brought me a lot of nonsense there.
Well.
Who are you?
I'm his daughter.
That your daughter put together for you. Now. See, you didn't think I'd be so smart. You thought only smart people live in Texas. They've grown smart in Brooklyn, too.
Right.
Now, was this the first time you were in this gambling establishment?
No, ma'am. I've been in there over 5 times. I've
And
won.
who are these people?
This is my girlfriend and my friend.
Were they with you?
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me what game you were playing on July 26th.
I was playing a Keno. It has all kinds of games on it. And Bobby had a guy up there working for him.
Who's Bobby?
Bobby
Mr.
right
Altman?
here. Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
He had a guy up there working for him that seen me feed them machines with money, put money in money, because that's all I do is gamble whenever I got free time. And I hit a jackpot. It didn't come right off the bat. It had 4 kings, and the jackpot's 5 kings. I hit 4 of a kind, and I hit the draw button to draw another card, and it hit a king. And the guy working looked at me and said that the guy ain't gonna pay you the money.
Don't tell me what he said. So you hit the 5 kings. And what time was this?
About 4 o'clock.
Were you with him?
Yes, ma'am.
You stand up here. What's so funny?
No,
What's your name?
Levi.
What do you do for a living, Levi?
I move furniture.
Did you graduate from high school?
No, ma'am.
No. Did you graduate from high school?
Yes.
When?
Last year.
You have a cell phone?
Yes, ma'am.
You have a computer?
No, ma'am.
You know how to use a computer?
No, ma'am.
I don't either. It's okay. I'm just trying to figure out how clever you are with electronics, because that's Mr. Altman's defense. So when these 5 kings came up, you said, I won.
Yes.
And I understand that because of legalities, they can't pay you in cash, they pay you in Walmart cards.
Yes, ma'am.
How much were you supposed to have won?
$1,358.12.
So why didn't somebody pay him, Mr. Altman?
Well, for the first reason, when I wasn't down there.
You don't have to be down there. You have a business.
Right. When they called me at home and told me that a man had won the jackpot, I told him to tell him to come back at noon tomorrow and he'll get paid.
Why did you do that?
Because I assumed that he'd won a legitimate jackpot.
Why didn't you go down there that day?
I did go down there. An hour or so later, I did go down there.
Just a second, why didn't you go down there to pay him? If your employees don't have the authority to pay a jackpot.
It's not only that they don't have the authority, but we normally don't keep that kind of money on hand in the evening. A Walmart will only allow us to buy $500 worth of cards a day.
How much money did you pay out on July 26th, sir?
I don't know how much offhand, but more than the $1,300.
Really?
Really.
You mean most people win when they come to your business?
Well, a lot of them do.
I want to know why you didn't go down there immediately to pay this man. What kind of gambling establishment says come back the next day for your winnings? Shh.
Well,
I never heard of such a ridiculous business.
if you don't have the cards on hand,
You have to have the cards on hand if you offer a jackpot.
well,
I mean, I just came back from Las Vegas. Can
Right.
imagine if I put money in a machine and it came out that I won $5,000 and Mr. Wynn said to me, come back next week. I'm going to get some money together and pay you your money. You know how long you'd be in business? An hour.
and I guarantee you that if he thought you cheated him,
How would you know
would
on the
be a
telephone?
whole
Hey,
different
Mr.
story.
Altman, that's nonsense. How would you know on the telephone that somebody cheated you?
I didn't know on the
Then you should have
telephone.
gotten your rear end down to your business and paid him that day or gone down to investigate that day. You don't say to your customer, come back tomorrow. That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. Does that sound ridiculous to you? You ever go to a casino where they told you to come back tomorrow to get paid?
No.
Well, I'm asking you. I mean, you're going to be 50 soon, and I assume that you've been to
Thanks.
casinos.
Tell everybody, right?
Now, so I assume you've been to a casino
I've been to a
more than
casino
one
or
or
two,
twice. Did you ever win a jackpot?
No.
Ever win a little jackpot?
Not really.
No, well, I would stay away from casinos if I were you. Have you ever been next to anybody that won a jackpot?
I was next to somebody who wanted to
Oh,
jackpot.
good. Have you ever heard of somebody saying to them, come back the next day to be paid?
I have never heard of it, Judge.
And neither have I, Mr. Altman. And especially since you say to me, I have to find out whether he's cheating or not. It would seem to me the best way to find out if somebody cheated you is to go down there that moment and look at the machine that moment, not the next day. Now,
Unfortunately, when they called me, I had no idea who it was or whether or not they was cheating.
Mr. Altman, you sound ridiculous.
I only knew that when I went
Sound
down there.
ridiculous.
Well, I'm sorry about
You
that,
sound,
Judge.
Mr. Altman, ridiculous.
I'm
because
sorry about
you
that.
went down there an hour later, you say. So clearly you could get yourself down there within a relatively short
Absolutely.
period of time. Why did you tell him to come back the next day?
Because that's our policy to come back
Baloney.
the next day.
Baloney. That's baloney. Had nothing to do with I didn't have enough cash on hand. You're making up excuses as you're going. I want to see whether he was cheating or not. Now, you prove to me, in a way that I'm going to understand it, put your hand down, that he cheated on that machine. Show me.
Machine has two sets of brains, one on the outside, one on the inside.
Two sets of
There's
brains.
the picture of the inside brains.
Go ahead.
And if you look at it on his particular game, it shows that he only won $212.84. Not only that, but the game above it showed the hopper jam. The game below it showed configuration error. That would only happen if somebody had messed up the brains
Well, how does somebody mess up the
with
brain?
their cell phones.
How does somebody mess up your game with your cell phone?
Well, when we flew in here last night, they announced all cell phones must be turned off
Well,
while
just
in
tell me.
flight.
Just tell me.
Because they will occasionally interfere with the electronics of the airplane, the hospitals, the games.
Mr. Altman, I just came from Las Vegas, my friend, and sat at those slot machines, those quarter slot machines, and talked to my friends on the cell phone. And nobody in the Wynn, the Bellagio, any casino that I've ever been in Las Vegas says you can't use your cell phones because you can jam the machines because slot machines have two brains. Your slot machines have two brains. Mr. Ellison only has one.
Right.
So far, you have convinced me of nothing except that you don't want to pay for this jackpot. That's the only thing you've convinced me of.
I've paid plenty of jackpots that had nothing to do with the money. Nothing whatsoever.
You owe him the money, Mr. Altman, and if you don't like the casino business, get out of it. I would have a lot more respect for you if you said, well, my manager called me and said somebody won a jackpot. First of all, that shouldn't have been a revelation requiring a telephone call to you. People win jackpots. That happens. And if they won a jackpot, you should have said he won the jackpot. Please pay him. And if you said he didn't have enough cash or enough cards to pay him, which is another lame excuse that you gave me, you say, well, give him what you have and tell him to come back the next day. You didn't say that at all. You said, I'm not coming down. You did manage to go down an hour later because he threatened to call the police. So you went down an hour later. When you got down an hour, and he did call the police. And when you got down an hour later, then you said to them he cheated.
And it's obvious that you don't have a clue what's going on in the casino business in Texas. It's
well, Mr. Altman, if the heat in the kitchen is too hot for you, sir, don't be in the casino business.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
explain to me, sir, this $8,000 outlay of money.
Stacy had called me right before October, I believe in...
Listen to me.
Yes.
I'm not interested in your social history. Just get to the car.
Timothy Ellison says casino owner Bobby Altman refuses to pay up on a jackpot. Bobby claims that Timothy rigged the machine.
Now, Mr. Altman, if you're in the casino business, sir, you got to do it right. And you have to make it appear as if you're doing it right, which is if somebody ostensibly wins a jackpot in one of your casinos, and if you have a policy that they can't pay unless you're there, then you get yourself there. You don't tell the winner of a jackpot, you come back the next day. When? You've got control over the machine in that 24-hour period. Who knows what you could have done to the machine? Why would he leave his jackpot? Say, I'm not leaving this machine. I'm standing right here. If I'm not here, my husband's here. Mr. Altman, you did the wrong thing. You owe him $1,358. You pay him. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
The old man, he's just a scam artist. That's what he does for a living.
He's a local dopehead and a local thug out there.
If I was a dopehead, I wouldn't go in there and spend $1,000 in that casino.
We'll never go to that casino again.
No, he's not allowed back in my casino.
Oh, I ain't worried about it.
No, his days are done there with me.
He still loves Judge Judy.
I watch her every day now for years and years and years.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Russell versus Russell. Step forward.
Stacy Russell is suing her ex-husband, Glenn Russell, for an unpaid loan to buy a 2000 Land Rover.
Mr. Russell, according to your complaint, you and the defendant were married, divorced. Sometime after the divorce, Mr. Russell moved back in with you. According to you, he moved in just to sort of help out financially and be closer to the boys. You have two boys together, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to Mr. Russell, you moved back in together with the expectation of trying to put your family back together.
Yes, Your Honor.
Be that as it may, subsequent to the divorce and while you were living together in this manner, you claim that you loaned him $8,000 in order for him to purchase a car. Several months after he did purchase the car, which was titled in his name, the two of you separated, things didn't work out, and you want your money back. Mr. Russell says there was never any expectation that you would be getting this money back. Yes. You were living together as a family at that point, and there was never any loan agreement.
That's wrong, Your Honor.
When did you advance him this money for the car?
January 18th, 2007.
I'd like to see the proof of that, please.
Yes, Your Honor. I have a canceled check, and I also have a transaction history from my mortgage company where the money came from. This was a loan, Your Honor. This was not a gift.
That's why we're here. That's something that I'm going to make a decision about.
Okay.
What were the terms of the repayment in January of 2007?
That Glenn would pay me $200 a month until the entire $8,000 was paid off.
When did he make his first payment?
He never made a payment, Your Honor.
When did he move out?
He moved out in March of 2007.
Well, what did you do when he didn't make the first payment in February?
He just gave me some excuses as why he didn't make it, and he was having financial trouble. He said, don't worry, you'll get your money. And then March came, he suddenly moved out. I found out from our youngest son that he just moved out without a word.
When did you sue him?
I pursued suing him after I moved our family to California.
Why didn't you pursue suing him before you moved out to California?
I don't know, Your Honor. Glenn hardly even pays child support. I only get $100 every 2 weeks for both of our children. I certainly wouldn't loan him
Mr.
money.
Russell.
Yes.
You acknowledge that your former wife paid for this car. Was the entire amount of the car $8,000?
Yes, Your Honor.
Where did you buy the car from?
From a private individual, Mr.
Did you make a check payable to him?
No, Your Honor. It was cash.
You have a bill of sale for Mr.
No, Your Honor. I did not bring the bill of sale with me. I do have the title, but nothing here that says the actual sale price of the vehicle.
What kind of car was it?
It's a 2000 Land Rover, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Russell. Explain to me, sir, your version of this $8,000 outlay of money for your car.
Okay. Stacy had called me right before October, I believe in...
Listen to me.
Yes.
I'm not interested in your social history. Just get to the car.
She gave me the money for...
Just tell me how that came about.
I had mentioned to Stacy that I needed a new vehicle for my business. I am in the flooring sales business, and I do go to people's homes. And at the time, I was driving a 1996 Cadillac, which was pretty beat up, in need of major work. And I had done some research on the internet, found this vehicle, mentioned to her I would like to have this, and she knew that I didn't have the money to afford this, so she gave me the money to buy this vehicle.
She has
That's a
two
lot.
children that she's supporting.
Yes.
You indicated that you have a 16-year-old son and you were going to give your old car to your son.
Yes.
Did you do that?
No, Your Honor.
Good. You're going to sign the title over to your former wife, sir. Then she's going to make arrangements to come and get it. Have him sign over the title to the car. Then it's your car. Now, Mr. Russell, now what you're going to do is you're going to retrieve your car and sell it, and hopefully you will be able to recoup the entire amount of money that he owes you. Do you understand?
I understand, Your Honor.
Very good. Sir, you don't take money from the mother of your children who's supporting your children when you're
I was living
contributing.
there.
I'm speaking. When you're contributing $100 every 2 weeks for the support of your children, you don't take $8,000 from her. Did you sign it?
It's small. I have to read this.
Read it carefully while I'm sitting here and sign where you're supposed to. We'll fill in the blanks, sir. You just sign your name. Good. Now she gets the title after Bird looks at it. Thank you very much. Now you can go buy yourself a car, sir. Save your own money. Save it from the child support you don't pay. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. They step out. That's case number 137 on the calendar in the matter of Kia versus Monzon.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Ms. Kiev, how long did you and the defendant live together?
We lived with each other for over 5 years.
In your complaint, you say it was 6.
6 years, yes. That's when the trouble started.
And during the time that you were living together, were you working?
Yes, I was working.
Continuously?
Continuously.
And what about the defendant? Was he working?
No, he was always between jobs. He had over 5 jobs.
How long were you unemployed, Mr. Monson?
It was like a month.
But other than that, you were working?
Yes, ma'am.
And how did you arrange your finances?
In my paycheck, I pay the mortgages and bills.
And what about with his paycheck?
His paycheck, whenever he can help me, he'll give me some money.
It doesn't seem like a very, very appropriate financial arrangement. Did you have a joint bank account?
At one point, we did.
Oh, fine. So you had a joint bank account. And when you had a joint bank account, did you deposit your paychecks?
Yes, I did, but money was missing from the account. Plus, child support was pulling money from the account because he owed over $53,000 in arrear back payments, which I have evidence.
Not to. You don't have to show me.
Okay.
I got it. You picked him.
Right. Right. Bad apple.
Well, I would have figured that out if it's true within a year, not 6 years. You have no children together?
No.
Perfect. This is your complaint. You say that he trashed your house when he moved out, and you want him to fix up the house, that he also took all the property in the house. When he moved out, you want the return of value of your property. Also say that he has a car that was evidently in both your names. You don't necessarily want the car back, but you want your name off the title because you don't want to be responsible for the car anymore.
Correct.
Now, Mr. Monzon says that the car is just as much his as it is yours, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Who paid for it?
Apparently I did.
What do you mean apparently? What does that mean?
Because she said that I didn't make the house payment, so then my check only paid the Montero, so I guess the Montero's mine then.
I have.
I mean, that's what she told me. My check wasn't making the house payment. It was just paying the bills in the Montero. Hello, how did you make the house payment then?
Just a second. Did you take any property from the house, sir?
The property I took from the house.
No, the answer is either
yes, I did.
or no. What property did you take from the house?
I took some furniture that I bought.
That you bought when?
When we were together.
From what money? Is not an answer.
Like August.
From the money, August?
I mean, what'd you say about the furniture? I mean, you're confusing me, I'm sorry.
I want you to try to pay attention, not try to think ahead.
Okay.
It will be too taxing for you. I want you to think of what I'm saying just at the moment. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you get the money from that you used to purchase the furniture?
Oh, from my check, from my work, my job.
Okay. Did you deposit it in a bank account?
No, I gave her my check, and I had my own money.
You mean you had different money from the money that you earned from your work?
Since we were no longer together, as she claimed, I wasn't going to give her the rest of my check anymore.
I'm asking you about the furniture that you purchased, sir, that was in the house.
Yes, I purchased it.
Oh. See, this is not going to be easy. Listen, almost marrieds don't cut it in court, especially this one. Is not particularly interested in your almost married debt, your almost married joint property, your almost married bank accounts. You choose to get married, we've created an entire and an elaborate court system to deal with that. You choose to live together without benefit of marriage. There are certain things that you're going to fall short when the relationship terminates. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. So, you want the furniture or the car?
I'll take the car.
Perfect. Where's the title?
I have the registration here. It's been changed already in my name, because that's what she wanted.
Fine, so it's out of her name now.
Yes, it is.
Is that what you want?
Yes, and also the F-150, his truck, my name is also on there too.
The F-150 is in my dad's name. It's no longer in the name of...
Okay, listen to me. Where is all the furniture?
Some of it is gone because she abandoned the house and me, and I didn't know when she was going to come back or not. She left right...
Where's the furniture?
It's gone.
Did it fly away, sir? Did the earth open up and take it?
Some of the furniture was still there.
Okay. Mr. Monzon, you're making my life very easy, sir. Very easy. Let me see pictures of the house, please.
Do you want to see the before or after?
I want to see both.
Okay.
And the property that he took from the house, give me an approximate value of this furniture that's gone.
The ones that I'm concerned about are my computer, armor, passport, necklace that I got from my mom, my late mother, and...
That's not furniture, madam. You're not talking furniture. I'm talking about furniture.
I didn't come here for furniture. I came...
Oh, because you say in your complaint that he emptied out your house.
Yes, but what I'm concerned about is my computer, my passport...
Where's her computer?
The computer was bought for me. She bought that computer for me.
No, I have...
Just a second. It's not your computer. Do you understand? The computer is going back to her. You've got the car and the truck. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what you get. That's what I'm giving you. Period. Everything else goes back to her, including the computer. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. Within 5 days, the computer goes back to her. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut an order to motor vehicles to transfer the titles to both the truck and the car back to her name. Do we understand each other, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know what kind of an agreement you signed when you came here?
Mm-hmm.
That every decision that I made, you would abide by.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Within 5 days, the computer goes back to her in good condition. Because if it's not, I'm going to take your car away. Now do we understand each other, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Okay. Now I see the nice house. By the way, you have a passport, too?
No.
You're going to have to write away for another passport. All right, it's got a nice house. Can I see the after, please? Perfect. Oh, my goodness gracious me. Mr. Monzon, what were you so angry about, sir?
Well, I was angry at her, but I didn't take it out on the house. House don't hit back.
I understand from reading the complaint that there came a time when you weren't there. He changed the locks on the house. Did you change the locks on him?
Prior to November, I did.
Did you let him back in?
No, he kicked the door in.
And what did you do?
I called the police because
the police told you that you couldn't lock him out?
No.
Okay. Did he come back into the house?
He came back into the house.
How?
He kicked the door into the house.
You already told me that he kicked the door once.
Right.
And the police were called.
Right.
What happened when the police were called?
They told me that you shouldn't have locked him out because he has every right to be here.
You shouldn't have. That's what I thought.
Because I was coming home from work, and I didn't know why I was being locked out anyways.
I would have locked you out a long time ago, but that's just me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You owe $53,000 in back child support, and they would have taken your house. That's why it was put in her name. Is that smart of me to think of that?
Yeah, it is, but it wasn't done.
Right.
And later today,
Why was it put in your personal bank account?
The money was essentially mine from the get-go.
No, that's not true. You're an embezzler.
Coach Kiev says her former live-in boyfriend, Jovial Monzon, owes for the return of property and for the cost to repair her home.
Who made the holes in the wall, sir?
I don't know.
I don't believe you.
Okay.
I don't believe you at all.
When I left the house, it was in good condition.
Not now. So either you did it or she destroyed her own house.
Your Honor, I was served some papers from one of her lawyers saying that they hear voices in the house. And, like, if they hear voices in the house and I'm at work, hello, what does that tell you? Somebody else is in the house. Call the police, I'm being robbed.
Mr. Monzon, you walked out of the house with probably the only two valuable things that were there, which were a car and a truck. Now you say one is in your father's name. How did it get in your father's name?
He was the one who bought me that truck, and they just put it in our name just to show him how much they cared about us, that they didn't want nothing to do with it.
He bought the truck for?
For me, but to put it in our name.
He put it in your name because you owed back child support, and they were going to take the truck if you put it in your name alone. Who are you kidding?
No, that wasn't the reason why.
Wasn't the reason why? But
No,
it was a very good reason. Is that smart of me to think of that?
Yeah, it is, but it wasn't though.
Right. Right. How much is it going to cost you to clean up this mess?
I don't live there, so it's hard for me to get somebody to go and give an estimate. I've been working with my realtor, and she's been trying to get someone out there also, and we haven't.
Well, how do you expect me to figure it out?
It's a lot of damage. I have receipts from when I installed the carpet, brand new carpet, and the stove that he damaged. I have receipts of it.
In what year did you install that?
It was July 06 when I had the house on the market.
And was he living there in July of 06?
July 06, he actually went to rehab, drug rehab. He was gone for a week.
You had been living with him. So if you put the new carpet in the house, madam, it's from monies that you had pooled together.
No, this is money from refinancing my house.
How much did you take out of the house?
I took out to pay off the car, which was $21,000 on the car, and
which car?
The Montero.
You paid off the Montero?
I paid off the Montero. I have the refinancing paperwork. Shows the check distributed to Mitsubishi.
Can I see that, please? You paid off the car?
Yes, I did.
You want the car?
I do want the car back.
Oh, you want the car?
But he refused to give me back the car, so I said, if you want to keep the car, then take my name off the title because I don't want any responsibility. But if I can get my car back, I would love to have my car back because I paid for that.
She says she took out a home equity loan and refinanced the house for $21,000 and paid off the Montero. Is that true? I have paperwork here.
I guess so. I mean, like,
What year is the Montero?
2002.
How much was it?
$800 and something that apparently I was making the payments on.
So you can't pay for both the house and the car at the same time?
No, but apparently she said she was. So it's her car and the house. Your Honor, the house, we bought the house together. I mean, like, I'm not even countersuing against that.
When was the house purchased?
It was purchased like 2 years ago, which my parents gave her $15,000 so she can purchase the house. We could.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha. And the house was put in her name?
No, she put it in her own name.
I said the house was put in her name.
Right. Why would you put my name in there?
Why? Because you owe $53,000 in back child support. That's why. And they would have taken your house. That's why it was put in her name. Same reason that the cars were put in other people's names other than yours. Have you paid your child support?
Yes, I pay it out of my paycheck. Comes out.
Because now they take it out of your paycheck.
Yes, I pay
Good.
it.
Who are you living with now?
I'm between houses.
You're living in one of your cars?
No. I'm supposed to be leaving to go to Denver. Apparently, I had to come here first, take care of this.
Leaving for Denver for what?
To start anew, to get away from the plaintiff.
Where are your children?
My children are in California.
And where are you living now?
I'm living in Benicia right now.
In California?
Yes.
So you're moving hundreds of miles away from your children?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I chose her over my kids. Stupid, huh? She gave me the choice.
Listen to me.
Yeah, I know.
Nobody makes you make that choice, sir.
You're right.
Nobody makes you make that choice.
Biggest one I made.
Okay. Now, he does not have your necklace. He does not have your passport. He has your computer, which he's going to return to you in 5 days. Do you understand?
Yes.
The house is in your name.
Yes.
Did you get a deposit for $15,000 from his family for the house?
It was $12,000, yes.
So you did. Did you pay them back?
I did.
When?
I borrowed $12,000 for the first house that I bought. When I sold that house and made some money, I paid them back after I sold the first house.
What about a down payment on this house?
I bought it with $0 down.
With $0 down?
Yes. The money was to put in the bank to show that I can make the payment.
And where did you get that money from?
I borrowed from my sister and from his mother.
From his mother?
Yes.
Did you give it back to her?
I did. Yes, I did.
Did she give it back to your mother?
I don't know.
You were there.
Okay, fine. Okay. You get your computer back, and I believe that you're entitled for money for the car because I believe that you made a substantial payment on the car. He's going to take your name off the title. He says he's already taken care of that. But I believe you when you say you took out a home equity line of credit, and from that you paid off the Montero, so I'm giving you a judgment for $5,000, unless you want to turn the car over to her. What's your pleasure?
I'll keep the car.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all.
Why did you excuse me, step out?
Because I was fearful for my life. He made threats.
Violent threats. She was harassing me.
He threats to shoot me and do all kinds of stuff.
And she was making demands on me, saying that, oh, I better not make any demands. She's like raising her voice at me.
I hope it's the end, but I still have to go to a restraining order.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Gravenstein, Irwin versus Lewis. Step forward, please.
26-year-old Vanessa Gravenstein and 25-year-old Karina Irwin are suing their former friend, Brian Lewis, for embezzling money from an art collective.
Ms. Gravenstein, according to the complaint that I've read, you and the co-plaintiff met the defendant. You were interested in starting something called an art collective. And I assume what that means is a place where young people can show off their art. Is that right?
And also produce their art and be inspired by each other.
And what you did was you and the co-plaintiff were involved in setting up events to raise money to create this art collective. And the two of you worked together along with Mr. Lewis. You raised over $4,700 at these various events, something that Mr. Lewis does not deny. And you put it in the bank. And Mr. Lewis took the money and spent it. Mr. Lewis's defense is that it was always intended to be his money. That's your defense?
Essentially.
Well, Mr. Lewis, I want you to explain that to me, sir.
9 months ago, I was starting a venue to have
Starting a
venue space for concerts, art showings, and so forth. And over the course of about 9 months, I looked for a location to house that.
I thought you said 9 months ago you had a venue space.
No, 9 months ago we did not.
9 months ago, then you had nothing. You had an idea.
We had an idea.
Keep going.
And over those 9 months, I started a business called...
What was the business?
The business name was Is Village, and it was filed by the Secretary of the State of Oregon.
So now you had an idea that you gave a name to, and you filed a registration of the name. So far you have an idea and a name, and nothing else. Keep going.
I basically looked for individuals to help me create this venue space that was supposed to be owned by myself, and met with friends and other individuals, and they aided me in organizing different events.
Who aided you?
These two individuals and a rotating group of individuals that came in, came out.
Keep going.
We held events, generated money, and because the business belonged to me, it was put in my personal bank account and was my personal
Why was it
property.
put in your personal bank account?
Because the business was mine, I started the group, the money was essentially mine from the get-go.
No, that's not true. You're an embezzler. Absolutely. You brought a group of people together in order to create a dream that you had and that you inspired others to act upon in order to do this Is Village. That's why they went to work for you, and that's why, according to you, the other people who you spoke to became involved in creating the events that brought in money, which would ultimately provide you with a venue. Now, what did you spend the money on, Mr. Lewis?
When I was no longer satisfied with the direction of the business that I started, I followed up on interests, business interests, friends of mine, a limousine.
So you spent the money on yourself?
I wouldn't say that, but...
Well, I would. They weren't investing in a limousine. That's not why they worked to create this, so that you could invest in a limousine? Outrageous. You're outrageous. I'm surprised you didn't notify the police. Did you?
We notified you instead.
Well, his conduct is outrageous, and you should have notified the police. He's an embezzler. And I wouldn't go into a business with you, Mr. Lewis. What you did is outrageous. The only problem is you're not entitled to this money. I mean, my problem is people supported you and gave money and contributed because they were looking forward to some place where they could show their wares. If I gave you this money and you used it on yourself, you're no better than he is.
Exactly. So we feel like we've learned from this situation, and we're going to get a new business and a new business name.
I want to see how much money you collected and how much you put in his bank. You have the records?
Yeah.
I'd like to see it, please. Ever been arrested, Mr. Lewis?
No, ma'am.
How old are you?
21.
Better go back to business school.
Definitely considering it.
I want to see where the money went in.
The deposits are highlighted and circled, and then we wrote next to it which benefits that money came from.
Oh, that's fine. As soon as you get me the bank records, not these, the bank records. Do you understand? You mean you can't get them because they're in his name? I will sign an order for the bank to turn those over to you, unless he does. You prepared to turn those over?
More than happy to do it.
Fine. As soon as we get those, and you have a venue with a signed lease, the check will be made payable to that venue. Do you understand? That comports with the reason that not only you, but other people became involved in this vision. Is that reasonable?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Grow up, sir. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in jail. That's all.
Pardons are excused. You may step out. Yes, case number 242 on the calendar in the matter of Blanco versus Trujillo.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Why don't you folks have a seat?
Ms. Blanco, Mr. Trujillo was your boyfriend.
Yes.
Your complaint alleges that he co-signed for a car for you.
Yes.
The car was titled in his name?
And mine.
But he was on the loan?
Yes.
You couldn't get credit?
Both of us were on the loan.
But you couldn't get credit yourself?
Yes.
You broke up. And the agreement, when he agreed to co-sign for you, from what I understand, was as follows. He would co-sign for you, and you would make regular payments on the car, timely, that you would maintain insurance on the car, that you would pay for his cell phone, maintain his cell phone. Anything else, sir?
Medical insurance.
And keep him on your medical insurance, pay for his medical insurance.
Yes.
That was in exchange for him obligating himself on the car loan. You broke up. According to Mr. Trujillo, you were late in many of your car payments, which damaged his credit.
Yes.
In addition, although he doesn't say it, you do, you canceled his cell phone and canceled his medical insurance.
In January of 2007, yes. This year.
Whatever. You canceled his medical insurance. There was no time limit on this contract.
It wasn't really an agreement that I was going to pay his cell phone insurance. It was more of a blackmail, and I have emails to prove that.
What do you mean? Just a second. I'll see you in a second. But it's my understanding, even from you, in your complaint, that we came to an agreement, this is what you swore to, that he would co-sign my car for me, and I would pay for his cell phone plan along with adding him to my medical insurance. That's what you say.
Yes.
So you canceled his cell phone and you canceled his medical insurance. You fell behind in your car payments, and he repossessed the car and turned it back in. Is that what you did with it, or are you driving it?
I currently have the car.
You currently have the car, and you've made up the car payments.
Right, I write it up to date.
You want all the money that you put into the car.
Not necessarily all the money, the down payment that I put into and the payments, some of the payments that I did, and for insurance and the cell phone bill that I did remove them from it, but it wasn't really an agreement. And I have emails that show that it was more of, if I take them off, that the car deal would be done and deal with.
Well, that's true. You know, you don't understand, Miss Blanco. If you made that agreement with him when he co-signed for the car for you, which is what you say in your complaint, and you subsequently break up. So you get the dates. When did you break up?
In September of 2006.
And when was the car purchased?
July 22nd of 2006.
And when did you take him off the cell phone?
The cell phone, I took him off in this February of 2007.
And when did you cut him off of your health insurance?
They didn't cancel that until August 31st of this year, after he took the vehicle and everything.
When did you cancel him from the health insurance? Not when they took him off. When did you cancel him?
When I told him June of this year.
June?
Of 2007.
And he repossessed the car?
June 10th.
Which he lied about repoing the car. He did not tell me anything.
He doesn't have to tell you anything. How many times were you late on car payments?
4 times. But I have proof from VW that I called them, everything, we stayed in touch.
I don't care whether you stayed in touch. What does that mean, Ms. Blanco, that you stayed in touch?
Because they cut my hours from work. It was very unexpected. On March 10th, we had a meeting and they told us, hey, we're cutting hours by Monday. I went from working 40 plus hours to 32 hours. There was no way I could come up with the money. I was trying my hardest to get a second job, and Renee knew about this. He knew that I was trying to get a second job. I kept in touch with him every single time. I said, hey, I only paid $110 this time.
Ms.
We're going to do it.
Blanco, you have to be a grown-up, sweetheart.
I was
Listen
now.
to me. You can't visit your problems on him. The fact that you were working with Volkswagen and they don't want your old car back they want to work with you as long as they're going to get their money, right? That's one thing. That doesn't mean it's not reported to his credit as the co-signer. The fact that you lost hours impacted on him.
He
you
knew
understand that.
I understand
That's his
that.
complaint, because he has a counterclaim. He says you ruined his credit because for 4 times, and I don't care if it was 4 times or 3 times or 2 times, if you don't make your car payment on time, the people who were responsible on that loan are going to be penalized. That was him. He has an absolute right to repossess the car for that alone. In addition to the fact that you had a contract with him, a verbal contract, he would obligate himself on the car if you would maintain him on his cell phone and your insurance. Well, after a while, you're not his girlfriend anymore. You say, I'm going to cancel that cell phone. I don't want to pay for a cell phone, but he's calling other people, and I don't want to pay for his health insurance anymore. I'm canceling it.
It wasn't out of a malicious act to remove him.
It doesn't have to be malicious. That was your contract with him.
But it wasn't a contract.
Yes, it was. That's what you say. You
I
said
have
it
emails
was an
from him.
agreement. We came to an agreement that he would co-sign my car for me and I would pay for his cell phone along with adding him to my health insurance. You want me to see what you signed?
I know. I circled that agreement part. It wasn't...
That's what you signed.
I know.
That's what you swore to.
It wasn't an
That's what you said happened. That's what he says happened. You may not want to revisit that now.
Your Honor, there's an email here that shows the only reason I kept that going was because
she
of
doesn't
this.
understand that the email is going to support exactly what I said. Yeah, he says to you, you keep me on your insurance and your cell phone plan, and we'll keep the same car deal. That's what he says.
But it wasn't the car deal. The reason why it says car deal is because when we first signed up for the car, we signed up on July 22nd. A couple days after that, the guy that we did the car loan with called us in and said, hey, we have a better interest rate for you. If you come in, we could redo the contract. So I got sick a couple days after that, so we couldn't go right away. I had surgery, everything was fine. We went back and redid the contract, but before we redid the contract, we got into an argument, and I said, you know what, we have to take this out of my name, or out of your name, put it into my own name, now that, this is not how it's supposed to be. And in that email it says,
Ms. Blanco, was the car in both your names?
Yes.
Was the loan in both your names?
Yes.
Do you have proof, sir, that your credit score went from one thing to another?
I do.
Can I see it, please?
Sure. This is the before and the after with the credit scores highlighted.
I have the proof of, or not proof, but when we first co-signed the car, they did a credit check on us, and I have the credit score that they gave us on his and
Not
mine.
us, him.
And mine. Both of ours.
Just his.
Oh, you want
What was his?
His was 776.
Now it's 630. You know, when you walk out of the showroom, the car is diminished by 20%?
Yes.
So he had to take over a car that was now worth 20% less because you ruined his credit, in addition to cutting off his cell phone and insurance. Forget that. So you don't get anything for that, Ms. Blanco? Nothing. You should have kept up your end of the deal. If you kept
It wasn't an agreement. I know that says in its agreement, but when we were signing it upstairs, I circled it and said it wasn't really an agreement.
Whether it was or it was not, you cannot ruin the co-signatory's credit rating because you had a problem with your job. That's not his problem.
He knew that, and we were trying. We both wanted to make payments on it, but they didn't take credit card. And I tried my hardest to get a second job.
Crying. Did you buy a new car?
No, I have not.
Why not?
I'm saving up for it.
Good. That's what you should have done.
Payments.
That's what you should have done.
And that's what we wanted to do, and I wanted to do, and I have proof that I tried my hardest to get my car to pass smog so that I didn't have to get a new car. Chucky was also there as when I was searching for a new car. I did not want payments whatsoever, and he convinced me to get a new car and get payments.
You are a very strong young lady, and you don't seem to me like somebody who's shy. You got into difficulty. He had a right to take back the car.
Not the way he did, though. I don't.
Listen,
I was
not
at
saying
work, Your Honor.
I'm not saying he was Prince Charming. He had
I
a
know.
right to take back the car.
But I was at work, Your Honor, when he came, and I had lunch with my boss, and he just took the car. He did not warn me. After lying about having the spare key.
I'm not the moral police, Ms. Blanco. I'm here to decide a legal issue. The legal issue is, did he have the right to take the car? Absolutely. Did he have the right to sell the car? Absolutely. Does
But
he
he
have the
has
right
not.
to keep the car and make the payments? Absolutely. That is his prerogative, because you ruined his credit. You have no right to do that. You have to be a big grown-up girl and not say, because I lost my job, I had surgery, I had other things that happened to me, and I this and I have that. It's not my fault. He took the car the way I was having lunch with my boss. He didn't give me notice. You breached the contract to make the payments in a timely manner. May not have been of your own volition. It may have been because, I don't know, the sky was falling and henny penny and whatever other reason it was, but that can't impact on him. He's not your boyfriend anymore. He's not your boyfriend. He's not your father. He's not your brother. He has no moral obligation to you whatsoever. Now, you're driving the car, sir?
No, it's currently garaged at my mother's house.
Why?
Because I have nowhere to put it at. I go to San Francisco State, and I have no
Well,
garage.
who's going to drive the car?
My mom's driving it right now.
Oh, your mom's driving it. Good. So you have a nice car, right?
Right.
Good. So what are you complaining about?
By the time I sell the car to my supervisor here, I will have lost $5,000.
Well, you should have sold it to her sooner.
She doesn't have.
You
She's going to
showed
apply
it-
for a loan.
You should have sold it to her sooner. That's not her problem. That's your problem.
Okay.
You took back the car. Car is in good running order.
Yes.
And now you're paying for it, and you're going to sell it to somebody else.
To her.
And right now your mother's driving it.
Right.
Very nice. Your counterclaim's dismissed.
Okay.
So is your claim. You're not entitled to any money back. That's all. Thank you. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Well, as the Judge Judy said, she needs to grow up,
He's got a lot of issues to take care of, a lot of them,
be an adult about things, and pay her bills on time.
before he gets into a relationship like this again.
Lesson learned. Don't sign for anybody.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Kruger versus Perks, step forward.
Carolyn Kruger is suing her brother, Kevin Perks, for his share of their mother's funeral. Carolyn says Kevin is the only sibling who refuses to pay.
Miss Kruger, Mr. Perks is your brother.
Yes, he is.
And your claim is that he is responsible for a portion of your mother's funeral expenses.
That's correct.
Mr. Perks says he is not responsible for any portion of your mother's funeral expenses. When did your mother pass away?
April 22nd, 2007.
And it is my understanding that her primary asset was a life insurance policy. Is
That's
that correct?
correct.
Did she have any other assets other than this life insurance policy?
She had a few $100s in a bank account that I used to pay for the nursing home.
Other than the life insurance policy, did she have a home? Did she have a car?
No.
Did she have bonds? Anything else?
No.
Life insurance policy?
Yes.
And how much was the life insurance policy?
I don't know the total amount. We each got a portion of it. It was $2,082.74 a piece, times 8. So a little over $17,000.
And she had been paying on this life insurance policy. I assume it was from work? Or...
Correct. It came out of her pension.
So it was a pension?
Right.
And it is also my understanding from your complaint that there was no named beneficiary on the policy.
That's correct.
So far, are we correct on that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
So, only asset is a $17,000 life insurance policy, correct?
Yes,
You have 7 siblings.
that's correct.
Correct. Your mother did not have a will.
No, she did not.
So you decided, I assume, that you had been taking care of her business.
Correct.
You didn't object to that.
I didn't object. I didn't know I was objecting to because she never consulted me on anything.
When you went to visit her, did you take charge of her medical care, of overseeing her stay in the nursing home? Did you take care of her other business, or did you just go and visit her?
I just went and visited her.
So you knew somebody had to be taking care of that.
That's correct.
And who did you think was taking care of that business?
Carolyn.
There we go. And you didn't object to that.
No, I did not.
Perfect. Now, you did receive a portion of this life insurance, did you not?
That's correct.
How much did you receive?
$2,076 and some change. I don't know the exact amount.
When your mother passed away in April of 2007, did she pass away in the same town where you live?
Yes.
Did you go to the funeral?
Yes.
Did you put on a suit?
Yes.
You married?
Fiance.
Did your fiance go with you?
Yes, she did.
Do you have children?
Yes, we do.
Did you bring your children to the funeral?
Yes.
So they went to their grandmother's funeral.
Yes.
Were there flowers at the funeral?
Yes.
Was there a grave site that you went to?
Yes.
Did you ever stop to say to yourself, who's paying for this? Mr. Perks,
No.
did you ever stop to say to yourself, who's paying for this?
Yes.
Did you think the burial fairy was paying for it?
No.
No. So you knew that somebody had to be paying for it.
That's correct.
Okay. And who did you think? Put your hand down. Who'd you think that was?
The life insurance policy.
Right. Look how smart you are. You thought that her life insurance policy was paying for it, right?
That's correct.
Put your hand down. It did. All your brothers and sisters kicked in from the life insurance policy to pay for the funeral, except you. That's what the case is all about. Now, your sister could very easily have said, I am going to take all the proceeds of this life insurance policy, and I'm going to pay the $6,000 for Mom's funeral, and whatever is left over, I'm going to give it to my brothers and sisters. Right?
That's correct.
Well, that's what you thought happened. Instead, your sister decided to do what she considered the right thing, which was name each of you as a beneficiary on the life insurance policy. You all got your money, and everybody divided the $6,000 or whatever it was for the funeral and sent her a check for their portion. Go!
Well, Your Honor, the life insurance policy, normally most life insurance policy, they have a provision, or the funeral home has an agreement where you can have a form filled out to have the life insurance policy paid for it, the funeral expense itself. She never told me about this expense whatsoever. A week after I got the check, I never heard anything from her, never agreed to it, never paid anything. She didn't consult me about it, nothing.
So? And your point would be?
I should have been consulted further on...
I'm consulting you right now. I'm consulting you. Who's supposed to pay for your mother's funeral? Not you. You have no legal obligation to pay for your mother's funeral. None. But you have no right to accept full proceeds of a life insurance policy, which by law is supposed to pay for her funeral expenses before it's dispersed to any beneficiary. Do you understand?
Yes.
Perfect. So it was done a little bit backwards. Instead of taking the money out and then put your hand down. Does it sound like you're losing?
No, I'm sorry.
So instead of taking the $6,000 out and paying for the policy and then distributing it to you, she distributed it to the siblings and then says, okay, brothers and sisters, now send me a check. It's the same thing. Do you understand?
Yes.
You don't have to be consulted about that, sir. This one wants to say something.
During the funeral and everything that was at the funeral, as far as the casket, the flowers, anything, Kevin was not allowed or invited to pick any of that stuff out.
Was he invited to pick out who the nurses were going to be at his mother?
Your Honor.
Pay attention to what I'm saying to you. Was he consulted, and did he make himself responsible for his mother's care in the nursing home where she was?
He had no choice.
Of course he had a choice. Did he have a choice to pick you?
Yes.
Then he had a choice to pick where his mother went and who took care of her and participating in her care. He chose not to do that. Just as he chose, madam, listen to me very carefully, he chose to let somebody else take the responsibility for picking out a casket, for picking out flowers. It was not as if he wasn't invited to the funeral. He went with you and his children. He just made himself dumb, which I have a feeling isn't much of a stretch. You owe your sister your share of your mother's funeral. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. How much was it?
$750.
Judgment for the plaintiff. That's all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out. Your Honor, this is case number 235 on the calendar in the matter of Ricotta versus Leach.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Ms. Ricotta, it is your claim that you gave Mr. Leach $4,500 so that he could go out and scout around and find a car for your daughter for her birthday.
Yes.
Mr. Leach acknowledges that you gave him $4,500, but he says it was the return of a loan. This was your boyfriend for a period of time?
For 3 years.
So, Mr. Leach, I'm going to start with you, sir. When did you make Mr. Ricotta a loan?
The exact date was July of 2006.
And what was the loan for, sir?
Unforeseen expenses, household expenses, and also she had a very tight budget in terms of purchasing this car. So I was helping out with that.
Purchasing which car?
The car she was looking for her daughter for.
Tell me how these loans came about, Mr. Leach.
I...
What do you mean? Sir, am I saying something confusing to you? Is English your primary language?
Yes, it is. Actually, I just had to think for a moment because...
Because you didn't expect me to start with you. That's why you had to think for a moment, because you didn't expect me to start with you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, your defense is that the money she gave you was a return of a loan. So, tell me about the loan.
Okay. She was telling me she was struggling in terms of meeting expenses, household expenses, and also at the same time in terms of what she was trying to do in purchasing this car. There was a lot of expenses that came up, so it was very difficult for her in order to meet those expenses.
How did you come up with a figure, Mr. Leach?
I'm sorry, excuse me? Yeah. How did she come up?
How did you come up with a figure about how much money you were going to loan her?
Because it was about how much it would cost to buy a car. I figured how much, from what I knew about, though it was going to be very difficult to find a car for that amount of money, but, we're going to try to see.
So you gave her the money to buy this car that she wanted to buy for her daughter. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes,
Leach,
yes, correct.
It's not what you say in your answer, but let's say you sort of forgot what you wrote in your answer. So you lent her the money to buy this car, and you were supposed to look for the car because that's your sort of strong suit because you buy cars at auctions.
I have a friend who owns a dealership, and I thought that we could help her find a car through him.
So then why would you give her the money to give the money back to you?
It was her car. She would have to write the check for the car. She'd be purchasing the car.
Not necessarily, sir. You could have written the check out of your account. How did you know it was going to be $4,000?
I didn't. It was an estimate how much it was going to cost.
Show me the proof.
Okay,
show me the proof. I'm dying to see your proof. Show me a bank statement, sir.
I don't have a bank statement with me. I have a canceled check showing the amount of money withdrawn.
Where's your bank statement showing that this money came out of your account?
I don't. It's a copy of the canceled check, the front and the back.
Show me the bank statement. You were supposed to bring bank statements, sir.
Sorry, I don't have a bank statement with me.
That's too bad. You have a bank statement to show me?
Yes.
Give that back to him, please. Thank you very much.
This transaction, which she's speaking of, in May of 2006, because he does have an auction, and I'm a single mother, and he knew I was struggling. He did not want me to take a part-time job, so he offered to help me with my finances, that we go in on a car together at auction, and we did. I put $4,000 in, he put $2,000. He did all the legwork, he went to auction, he sold the car, and for me loaning him the money, I made a $200 profit, which was good for me, worked for him, and I do have all the statements for that transaction. The canceled checks he's showing you is the payment of the $4,000 I originally gave him in May. So that was a totally separate transaction. And I do have bank statements showing it came out of my account.
Show me the money that you gave him.
Okay.
I'm talking about the money for your daughter's car.
Oh, okay.
As far as I'm concerned, Mr. Leach has been totally unsuccessful in persuading me that he made a loan to you.
Okay, that's what you have right there is for the transaction in October. And you can see there's a cancel money order that went into his bank account the day after I took it out of my bank.
Mm-hmm. That was in October.
Correct.
Does this look familiar to you, sir? This is a bank statement.
I know what a bank statement looks like. Let me ask you, can I ask you a question?
Can you ask me a question?
Yes, can I?
I don't know answers. All I know is proof. I know what proof is.
Okay.
Proof
a canceled check
money...
is not enough evidence to support.
Sir, anybody can prepare a copy of a canceled check.
Okay, what about the checks I wrote to her with?
Show me the checks.
You have a copies of, with her name, with her endorsement.
These are copies, sir. I'm
Right.
looking for a bank statement showing me that money actually came out of an account.
Can you ask her if she?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think you're a hustler. She gave you this for $4,500. Money went into your account, $4,500. What did you do with the
Before
money?
that money came out of my account, and I think she will admit that that I wrote those checks to her. She endorsed it.
Yeah, she just explained to me that there was some
Okay.
sort of an arrangement with a second car. Did you
I
buy
do
another
have a-
car at auction?
Yeah, there's another and I have, and she's made that claim before, and I actually have evidence to support otherwise that's not true what she's telling you.
Show me.
Okay.
Well, here I have something, Mr. Ricotta, in June of 2006, made out to cash. It says for Rosie. Who endorsed this?
I did. It's written on this.
So you cashed it, you endorsed it, and you wrote on for Rosie.
No, I wrote on Rosie, and then I endorsed it afterward.
And what did you do with the money?
I gave the money to her.
Did he give you money in June?
No. In fact, I have a bank account statement of the first transaction that I took out $4,000 in May, and that he paid me back the $4,000 with those checks that you see a copy of.
Okay. So you gave him the $4,500 when?
October 4th, 2006.
Well,
My
it was
daughter...
coming up to an anniversary. Would you mind telling me what took you so long?
I originally started suing him in December. At the end of December, I took him to a small claims court.
And what happened?
He did not show up. He claimed he did not receive the notice. So he obtained an attorney. He had the attorney file to set a new court date. So that was successful, and that's what led us to here.
Ms. Ricotta, I'm satisfied that you gave him $4,500. I am now also satisfied that you vigorously pursued the return of your $4,500 2 months after you gave him the $4,500. I mean, I don't understand why he took your money and didn't purchase this car. Is there any reason? Did you break up with him shortly afterwards?
Yes, he felt the day that he came to my house, which was December 1st, 2 days before my daughter's birthday, because I did want it for my daughter's 16th birthday. And even though we had broken up earlier in August, we still remained friendly and we'd see each other now and then. I felt that he felt we were still going to stay together. And on
Come on, get to it. December 1st, he was at your house, and?
December 1st, he came to my house. I said, since you don't have the car in time for my daughter's birthday, I would like the money back. And I asked him if he still had the money. And he basically in turn said I called him a liar and a thief, and he felt disrespected, and he was hurt. He was hurt because that ended the relationship at that point. Was the last time.
Can I add something to that?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, because that's not what happened actually at that time. That night in question, actually, she accused me of stealing money, which I had not done. She was under the influence of prescription, non-prescription medication, and she had a lot of issues, depression, and she was taking it out of me. I mean, I can add a lot more insight, but you know, it's the personal issues that that.
I don't have to go into personal issues.
Right,
All
right.
I have to know is, in my own gut,
Right.
is whether or not I believe, based upon the proof that's been shown to me today, whether or not she gave you $4,500 to go and look for a car for her daughter, and whether or not, because the relationship was over, you failed to return the $4,500. She has proof that she took $4,500 out of her bank. She has proof that that $4,500 found its way within a couple of days to your bank. You say it was the return of a loan. I am not satisfied that there was any loan that you made to her, because you gave me some convoluted story that, quite frankly, even you couldn't follow if you were sitting here. So I am satisfied that you did, in fact, take this money in the quest to buy this young lady a car, and you didn't return it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,500. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I wish the verdict would have gone the other way. I would have sent a strong message to her that we're talking about.
Please like, subscribe channel this video for me. Likes and subscribe, please. Video share. Please support me. Like, subscribe, please. Please like, subscribe, please. Like and follow me. Become real Judy videos. Please like, subscribe channel this video for me. Likes and subscribe, please. Video share. Please support me. Like, subscribe, please. Please like, subscribe, please. Like and follow me. Become real Judy videos.